All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part 3 of my 10-part series where we will be walking through how to win the World War as Germany. In this video, I will be focusing on the year 1937. We'll be kicking things off on the very first day of January 1937. So, the goal of this video will be to walk through the economic, military, and national focus goals to achieve in 1937 to set Germany up for victory. In our previous video, we had beaten the democratic factions in Spain and have helped the nationalists win, who have now taken over Spain. And we've also annexed Austria. Right, let's start getting stuck into the playthrough. So, first things first, let's check in with our logistics. We've got all of our military training in the field right now, so they're consuming a fair lot of support and infantry equipment. That is okay, because we're getting useful army experience in return for that. We're currently mass-producing infantry divisions, and it looks like Italy just took Ethiopia, which is great. We'll be bringing Italy into the realm of the Axis in due time, so a strong Italy, it always helps. Right now, we are focusing on the industrial effort to national focus. What I'm actually going to do while that is developed is I'm going to switch all of my construction efforts now from civilian factories to military factories. I focus on exclusively building civilian factories in 1936 to build up enough trade resources and also construction resources for Germany. But as soon as 1937 ticks over, I will be focusing solely on military factory production up until the war starts, more or less. You're probably noticing with the positioning of my military factories, I'm filling them as far to the south, to the southeast of German territory. Austria, when you annex Austria, is a great place to build these military factories. The reason being is because we want to try and keep them out of range of the British bombers. That will come into play when we go to war with Poland and therefore the Allies. So we want to try and keep them as far away from those British bombers as possible, so they don't get destroyed. Alrighty. My next step will be, okay, we've just got some research tech there, that's great. After I unlock that national focus, I'm going to make a dive for the Army Innovations Tech. The reason being is I want to unlock the Panzer III model early. Sorry, Panzer III is in 1939. I'm actually going to go for that in 38. So for 37, we won't have to worry about it for now. That's fine. Let's keep on working on our industry as the first step. We've got a nice little bonus here, 50% bonus to our Construction 2 tech. Let's do that. Logistics company is a go. That's great. I like logistics companies for all my major divisions. I'm going to pause up on the support stuff for now and just keep working on this industrial focus. Always prioritize industrial focus tech when New Year's tick over, because we get a nice boost to our production from really most industrial tech, which is always nice. What I'm going to do now is, considering that I've got that logistics support company open or researched, I should have enough military experience to add them to my infantry divisions, which I will now go ahead and do so. Lovely. Now let's take a quick look at my Panzer divisions, how they're forming up. I'm going to, when I get the Panzer III, I'm going to switch out these light tank divisions here to medium tanks, and we've got the motorized units. I want to bring in self-propelled artillery and anti-tank later on. So right now we have got in our tank division support artillery, we've got an engineer company and a recon company. I'm going to change support artillery with a logistics company. Again, we will be using self-propelled artillery in the combat field or in the combat space. for our artillery power. So there's no need to have support plus combat unit artilleries. It's unbalanced in my opinion. I prefer to have true support companies like logistics, maintenance, field hospitals, recon as the units that get consumed in the 5 support tiles that we have per division. All right. I'll have a quick check-in to see how everyone is lining up on the front. I want to keep a close eye on how the French or the imaginary line defenses are holding up. There are, by looks, 45-ish divisions on the French side. We've got 34. So that's okay. If the French have got just an overwhelming force of divisions, then I'll try and balance it out. I think we should be fine if park it at 34. On the Polish front, I've put von Manstein's Panzer Army there. Let's have a look at von Rundstedt. So even at 16 and under training, he's done pretty well. It looks like there's what? Up on the eastern German border. 10, 15 Polish divisions against our 16, so nothing to worry there. I might actually siphon off a couple of those to... No, I'm not going to worry about garrisoning Czechoslovakia, because we will take that in no time as part of our annexation goal. If we can achieve that at 37, I'll be really happy. It all just boils down on how many of these infantry divisions... Oh, we got a whole line we can deploy here. Let's do that. As I was saying, it will boil down to how many of these infantry divisions I can rush to the field, because if it's unlocked with 750,000 manpower, which we're not quite there yet. So how do we get there? We're just going to keep rushing these infantry divisions to the field. Doesn't matter if they're untrained, because we will be adding them to any one of these armies and training them. I'm going to go ahead and add this to von Rundstedt's front. Let's go ahead and assign these troops. Let's check in how my the Netherlands front is holding with von Klug. So he's sweet there too. Looks like there are 8 or so divisions from the Netherlands. Jeez, the Belgium has got Belgium has got about 15, 16 there. And Netherlands not too much at all. Maybe about 8. I like to keep an eye on the forces on the borders of our soon-to-be enemy countries, just to make sure that we're parley with them. Hard to find, although I've set this game to follow a historical path, it can do some really strange stuff, like all of a sudden France going to war with you and kicking off World War II in 1936. You know, it can do some strange stuff, but I would like to aim for a nice historical playthrough. That would be nice. Okay, also, thanks for reminding me, game. I want to switch out Schucht with a military factory specialist. I think, is that Spear? Civilian? No, not that's a conversion. Is it Funk? Military construction speed. That's pretty darn good. I will probably get funked when we go to war. And when Bormann, is it Bormann or Hess? Yes, when Hess bails on us, we'll switch him out with Himmler. Because Himmler is pretty good when it comes to a really annoying thing that Germany has to deal with, and admittedly historically accurate, was the amount of partisans blowing up your infrastructure and just wreaking havoc in general in countries that you defeat. Heinrich Himmler will help to suppress those partisans. With his negative 25% suppression bonus, or reducing the effects of partisans by 25%, which is a nice little bonus set. We've put Funk into play. It'll give us a 10 plus on our military construction speed. Dockyard, I'm not going to worry about it. Particularly when we hit the Netherlands, Belgium, and France, we'll get all of these dockyards along the English Channel here. So I don't honestly bother building dockyards. We'll win enough. The exception to that, though, is when we look to construct an Atlantic fleet to bring across the United States. And yeah, we need to up our dockyard production at that point. But first things first, we have to win continental Europe. And that's what we're going to do. All right, how's our national focus coming along? Almost done. Perfecto. Can't drop any units into the field. I can drop one. Give us a little bit of a booster when that ticks over, which is what it has now done. I'm going to throw this guy over to Hell's Army in Königsberg. Get you to go over there. All right. How can we get Czechoslovakia? Can we? I think we can. Wow. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start going for this. I will save the Army Innovations tech till getting close to 38 so I can use it. Let me just quickly show you what the benefit of that is. We get Land Doctrine Experience, and then, sorry, it's the Treaty of the USSR is the one that I will be able to then get the 50% research boost to the Panzer Kampfwagen 3. That's the tech I want there, Treaty with the USSR. I'll work towards that towards the end of this year. But for now, I want Czechoslovakia in the Reich. Okay, so we've got here improved machine tools. Yep, let's run that. Admittedly, 1937 and even 38 are going to be pretty quiet years. What I've done in my previous videos, I've added skip links in the description, so you can skip to the juicy parts and the exciting parts. I like to keep these detailed, particularly for new players. Hearts of Iron can be a very overwhelming game, and it helps to have a good detailed explanation on what to do, when, how, and why. So, if you were looking to just get key points, use those skip links in the description. If you like listening to me ramble and like watching me play, then feel free to just sit back and relax and enjoy the ride. Our fighter production is coming along nicely. We've got close to 500, and it's the first, second-ish quarter of 37. My immediate goal is I want 3,000 fighters by the time we go to war with Poland. So I'd say so far we're on track with our production targets there, which is good. Our close air support units are coming along. Got lots of tactical. We're not producing tactical bombers. Switch them out to only focus on close air support naval bombers, which we're getting a little decent chunk there, and fighters. If you want to know a little bit more about my air strategy, check out the 1936 video. I discuss it fairly in depth on my approach playing Germany and the German air strategy for the war, or the war soon to come. See how Japan's doing. Probably the biggest military event between 37 and 38 will be Japan's war with China. As for when Japan kicks that off, it's around 1938. I'm not sure if that was how it was historically. I think it was. Japan is, it's debatable whether or not Japan is a useful Axis ally. At the very least, they can distract, if you can pull them into the war with Soviet Russia, they can distract the Soviets somewhat in Manchuria down here. But unfortunately, they never really amount to any great military push into the Soviet Union. That's all left to the Germans, as it was during the Second World War. They tend to focus their efforts south, as they did historically. Got some military factories now starting to come online. This is very good. I'm just going to focus on boosting up my infantry weapons production simply because, well, yeah, we're going to need lots and lots of factories assigned to infantry weapon production throughout this whole entire war. Our fire production is going on along well. I'm happy with it. I don't need to change it. That's the only one I really need to just be certain we're not underproducing there. If we don't win if we don't have air superiority at the start of the war, it's going to be very difficult to gain it. So yes, so far so good. Support equipment is not too far behind, but let's just focus on building up our infantry equipment production lines, as that's where we have the biggest deficit at this point in time. Everything else is showing green, which is good. And we've got another line of infantry units ready to go. Let's get them to the field. I'm going to keep on deploying infantry battalions just as I have been, right up until the point where I have got the Panzer III researched, and the Sturmgeschütz tank destroyer, and the Grilly self-propelled artillery, and have set up the Panzer Division template the way I want it to be set up. At that stage, once I've achieved all of that, I'm going to switch my recruit and deployment production lines from mass-producing infantry to mass-producing tanks and SS motorized divisions. My little paratrooper unit here, I'm actually going to balance it out. I'm going to balance out these two production lines so I can start producing some paratroopers and getting them to the field. I might just add a second line there. The other two specialist divisions that I could be producing are Marine divisions and also mountain divisions. I find throughout the game that our allies will give us a fair chunk of mountain divisions to the point where we don't really need to train our own. They're not bad divisions in any way, shape, or form. Sure, through our customization and know-how, we could make them better, but they're good enough. As for Marine divisions, I really only find them useful for the UK invasion and the US. To be honest, with a well-executed naval invasion, if you know what you're doing, it's very easy to do it wrong. I find that you don't really need them. So I'm just going to focus on infantry production and tank production as my core 2 points. All right, we've got a political power here to assign some new advisors. I'm going to motorization or infantry. I'm going to go infantry. The reason being is I will always the other German bonuses and political advisors will give us good props and good bonuses to our armored battalions and mechanized motorized battalions. Infantry, not so much. Infantry really is the backbone of the army. If you've got bad infantry with outdated equipment, it's gonna make things really hard. And you'll see I'll explain and show this in depth when we go to war with our friends over here, and soon to be enemies, should I say, in Poland, on how the infantry and tanks work together as a true combined force, with the tanks being the spearhead and line puncturing units. Really, they are a specialist in the sense. That's what they do. But the infantry holds the line and conducts a general advance of the line up to taking the key victory points of any which country that you wish to invade and conquer. I'd say overall, the most important military unit in Hearts of Iron is the infantry divisions. Good infantry divisions, it is the backbone of the military. Closely second to that are fighters to give you air superiority. Then I'd say motorized, mechanized, and tank divisions are very close, or the second most important land division unit. Just trying to find the victory point map here so we can take a look at the VPs in Poland. Anyway, we will take a little bit of a closer look at the Polish campaign when we near closer to 1939. All right, let's bump up our infantry production lines here. You'll probably notice that I've been upping these equally. The reason being is I try to give an equal symmetrical focus to all my production lines. As you can see here, these last two ones are not quite at 100% efficiency. When we look at my infantry production line that I had when I started this game, it's at a 55% cap. The higher the efficiency is, the more equipment it will produce per factory assigned to it. The faster, or how we can get this to improve itself faster, is by assigning factories to it. And also, of course, the core is being able to research better industry tech, which is what we've been focusing on so far for 1937. I picked the radar tech as I was chatting about something else. I find radar somewhat useful, particularly once we take the English Channel. I like to produce radar installations mainly to parallel with the British coastline here. It'll help us, be able to see what troop forces and concentrations are like on the British side, and with that knowledge and recon, then we can actually plan where we want to be dropping and deploying our troops onto the British Isles. We certainly don't want to be dropping a naval invasion on top of a massive enemy concentration, but by the time we get to it, I think Britain's going to be pretty exhausted through the victories that we'll be able to win on continental Europe. All right, we have got the national focus achieved. The Munich conference talks have been held in Munich between leaders of, and the Hindenburg has blown up. Oh, the humanity. Between the leaders of Germany, Britain, and France and Italy to discuss the future of Czechoslovakia. Both British and French have accepted our claims on the Sudetenland as legitimate, and their previous offers to support the Czechs have been rescinded. Recognizing the hopelessness of their situation, the Czechs have surrendered the Sudeten territories to us. Their oppression to German inhabitants will at long and last be brought to the Vaterland. This is a historic day for Germany. Yes, it is. Now, take a look at the nice little territory that we'll get. I don't know why it breaks down into two separate points, but it'll quite quickly capitulate. I've been saying capitulate. It's capitulate. I do realize that. All right, we're going to keep drilling down here. I want to get these three national focuses on our side so we can get maximum benefit. We're going to get the first Vienna Award, which will allow Hungary to get Slovakia. Our world tension's at 18%. That's okay. These types of annexation events will add to world tension. As long as, if world tension was like right up in the 30s, 40s, 50s, I'd be a little bit more hazardous to take these annexation events. But it's low right now, so I'm going to go crazy. Japan will add a fair chunk of world tension when they go to war with China, so I want to try and get these annexation goals done as quickly as possible. Plus, it'll allow us to get the useful territory of, I believe, the Czech Republic, and Hungary will then get Slovakia down here. All right, let's keep upping our infantry production lines. Might just pop in a couple of I'll grey in some factories here so I don't have to keep on jumping back into this every time a factory is produced. I'll just have a quick recap on that national focus here. So we got the Sudetenland, which I believe that's that ring territory that goes around the Czech Republic, the mountainous area. And now we're going after the whole hog of the Czech Republic, and we're going to give Slovakia to Hungary. So basically what we got here was, let's just swear, I guess the construction map will give us the best view. So this like ring territory around here is the Sudetenland, I believe it's pronounced. And the Vienna Award will give us this core blue area. I don't believe there's many resources in... I mean, there's a little bit of steel that we'll get. Hungary will get most of the steel reserves by the looks of things. Oh, that's already in northern Hungary. No, southern Slovakia, 20 steel points. But that's okay. The more territory, the better. That was the goal for the German Reich, right? As much territory as possible. All right, let's check in with our industrial tech. Let's grab the last industrial tech there. Resource gain efficiency. Our engineering tech is okay for now. We can park it there. Probably move into our, I think, when is our new artillery units? 39. I'll get the artillery in 38. So that we'll have the new artillery in the field come 39 for us to go to war. I'll probably next focus on upgrading our infantry units and weapons, and just keeping them working through our support divisions here. I just unlocked the maintenance company before. Absolutely always add a maintenance company to your panzer divisions. It will simply help your tanks not break down. And what's the use of building these grand and mighty panzers if they're not actually bloody being used in the battles, eh? It will give you a 25% boost to reliability, which is pretty damn significant. That's a really nice bonus. If we look at our Panzer IIs, their reliability is, we have it listed out here. I actually have to open up on the tech tree. But anyway, look, let's add in that maintenance company right now. Let's just thumb over to our little Panzer research tree. So you've got an 80% reliability. So with that maintenance company, that will give a nice solid boost to that. Our Panzer IIIs will have 80%. Ideally, I want to have a little bit of army tech or army experience banked up by then. I can do a little bit of upgrading to the Panzer III when I get it. But yes, maintenance companies are great, a must for armored divisions. One thing I'm not sure though is if there's a maintenance or a reliability that goes along with our motorized forces. There is. That's 80% too. Right. I'll probably go ahead and edit the SS divisions to include one of those as well once I have enough military XP. All right, let's go ahead and add another political advisor. I don't have no real logic on how I do this, guys. I just work sort of zigzag play like snakes and ladders with this thing. All right, so we're going to I'd like to get Messerschmitt to give us a nice bonus to our fighters' agility, max speed. So we would have got there a 10% boost to our agility of fighters and a max speed of 10. If I decide to use carrier fighters, I probably won't, to be honest. I probably won't bother to use... I'll see how I go. The Atlantic Fleet is is an interesting concept. Surely a modern battle fleet would consist of, you know, cruisers and aircraft carriers and be devoid of battleships. But yeah, we'll make that decision when we get to that point in the game. All right. So let's go through and start working on our infantry equipment. I'm going to get the support weapons up because they're down in like 1916. Can't have that. Yeah, 1918, sorry. Still using the stuff from the Great War. Right, so we're going to get some more resources. I might start trading some oil with the Soviet Union. Keep them happy. Such vast territory. It's just mind-boggling how big the Soviet Union is. Right, we've reached the halfway point of 1937. So far, we're on track with our grand strategy. If you look in the very introduction video, you'll see that I walked through the grand strategy of the German Reich, at that stage. So far, we're actually ahead of schedule. I wanted to get Austria and Czechoslovakia annexed in 37. I got Austria in 36, and looks like we're going to have Czechs all sewn up this year. So far, so good. All right, I'm going to work on getting some more support companies. Let's get the field hospitals next. Field hospitals are a good support company to add to your soft divisions. When I say soft divisions, flesh and bones, the old grunts, the infantry divisions will make good use of the field hospitals. Just helps to recover your forces, get them back to the front to fight as soon as possible. In place of the maintenance company for a panzer division, I will use a field hospital for a soft company like an infantry division. All right, some more factories are coming online. This is nice. Our production is going on so far as to plan. Amelia Earhart disappears. The famous aviator, first woman to complete a solo flight across the Atlantic, has disappeared along with her navigator. A loss for aviation indeed. I do like this about Hearts of Iron. If you enjoy history, it certainly is intertwined. Key historical events. You saw the Hindenburg blow up just before, and it will feed it to you in these news reports, and I guess it just keeps it. I know it is a game at the end of the day, but it does help to, I guess, give it that little bit of more of a realistic factor, or more of a truer factor to history as you go through and play it. It's a really nice touch. It really is. All right, let's check in how our divisions are coming along. Looks like we've got half a line of infantry to deploy. Our paratroopers aren't really doing anything. I don't have a supply. No, I don't have a supply shortage. That's fine. We'll just leave them as is. We'll get these infantry units to the field. I'm going to add them over to... Who have I got garrisoning Army Group A? Who is Army Group A? 3 division. Is that von Wykes? Von Wicks? Von Wykes. Alright, I'm going to give him some more divisions. Belgium looks like they've got 21 divisions on the front. Their small front. That's quite a lot for a one-tile front. Alright, new tech to research. I'm going to go for the signals company, so I've got the entire support tree, aside from military officers, leadership purchase in the Soviet Union. So they have just gone and done the Great Purge. Right, well, So signal companies help us, I believe, with our ability to basically go or move faster or have faster planning time, better organization, something along those lines. They're good. They're good. They're good to have. All right, national focus. I'm going to start working towards, now that we're in the second half of 1937, to getting that Panzer III research bonus. So going to see the third one in line here, fate of Czechoslovakia. So that this third one here is actually where I believe the division happens, where we get Czechoslovakia, or we get Czech Republic in modern day terms, and Hungary gets Slovakia. Marco Polo Bridge incident has happened. The Chinese forces skirmishing conclusively over the strategic Marco Polo Bridge, located just southwest of Beijing. China has directly rejected Japan's apology for territorial concessions, claiming that the breaking point of Japanese aggression has been reached. Right, so they're about to start popping off very soon. I might actually, yeah, after I get army innovations, I want to go and grab this. We're going to get increased world tension by 3 by doing this. The Japanese and Chinese war is going to really bump up that world tension. It's important to keep an eye on world tension. If you just raise it too fast, you can force an early war or force people to go to war. So it's something worth keeping an eye on and being a little bit more strategic in your decision making on particularly making these national or achieving these national focuses that will increase world tension. Once I've got Czechoslovakia squared up, then I've pretty much got what I need. I really want to have the Molotov-Ribbentrop pact in place prior to going to war with Poland. I'd like to have that national focus there with Danzig au revoir. Then having things like the war with France around the Maginot Line, an Operation Weserboom, give us the Denmark and Norway focus. The war with France, I believe, will give us, around the Maginot, will give us the war goals for Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. Lovely. All right. Well, I'm not sure what else there is to cover at this stage, ladies and gentlemen. I think the next major event will be us getting Czechoslovakia and the Reich. I might even pause this video up or edit this build-up period because nothing really else is going to happen between now and then. Nonetheless, feel free to keep on watching and playing on with me in the meantime. All right, so another political advisor. I'm going to go after the tanks prior to the ships. So what I want to do here is I've got heavy tanks, mobile tank, and tank designer. Armor, reliability, and softer tank. Armor, max speed and reliability. Armor and hard attack. Armor research time -10. Tank divisions have got really low soft attack. That's why I always do a combined arms with my tank armies. That is by including SS motorized divisions that have got good soft attack. It's important to have good soft and hard attack if you want to break through a line as quickly as possible. With that said, I'm probably going to go with Porsche. Big armor, big attack allows you to punch through big enemies faster, and Porsche were responsible for the Tiger, I believe. Or maybe was it the Ferdinand? Either one of the two. Anyway, I like Porsches, and I like heavy tanks, even though I'm going to use them sparingly. So yes, we're going to make our political advisor Porsche. That's actually piqued my interest now. I want to read up on the hard attack and soft attack of, let's look at the Panther 3. So our soft attack is 15, our hard attack is 14.7. But if you compare that with a motorized division, which has got hardness of 10, it doesn't actually tell me what their hard attack is here. I'm sure I'll see that in the actual division or army when it's deployed in the field. I will take a look at that after I've assigned something to the research side of things. And what have we got? These guys are going through MPs. I'm stuck between if I build dedicated MP divisions for infantry suppression. Honestly, I think I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to just keep deploying my infantry divisions to the field and replace them with the forces that my allies give me throughout the war, and move the quality German divisions to the front lines, because we're going to make the German divisions kick ass. All right, got the maintenance company support is there. I will update my infantry divisions to include artillery when I grab the 1939 artillery unit and start mass producing them at that stage. Support anti-air and support artillery, that could all stay for now. Might take a look at my paratrooper divisions. So we've got 3 paratroopers that get dropped. The biggest danger when you drop paratroopers is them actually getting cut off, encircled, and destroyed. You got to do it. You got to do it strategically, for lack of a better term. You want to make sure that your paratroopers are close enough to your main force that you can quickly advance to connect up with them. So what I will do with my paratrooper units is I'm going to add a logistics company. It will help them reduce their supply usage and just help them, well, not run out of supply so quickly when I'm paratrooping them deep behind enemy lines. Well, not too deep, reasonably deep. So let's add that in. I probably won't really need to add anything else to the paratroopers. Maybe recon, maybe a field hospital, defense, breakthrough, soft attack, hard attack, recon. Yeah. I might do an engineers, defenses, breakthrough, soft attack, and entrenchment. I might go engineer, recon, and field hospital, perhaps. We'll see. We'll see how we go with our support production. All right, what I'll do is I'm just going to block out a good chunk more of a military factory location to just filling out the second line. When they become available to my infantry equipment, then I'm going to start filling up the support lines. Having a good supply of support equipment is arguably just as important as infantry weapons. So that's pretty well set up. I can more or less let that be set and forget now as my military factories are constructed, which is going along reasonably well. Might line some more up here in Lower Austria. And upper something. Upper Austria. That makes sense. Lower and Upper Austria. I'm going to pop some down in this little pocket down here. Eastern Sudetenland. And in the Sudetenland. Why not? Keep it nice and consistent. All right, how's our political focus going? We must be close now. Yes, we are. Only a couple of days away. 8, to be precise. All right, we're going to switch that out to our annexation of Czechoslovakia next. My computer is pretty slow, as you probably realized. It doesn't take the time away that quickly, even with me on the actual max speed. So I do apologize if this is causing these to advance more slowly than you'd like with other Hearts of Iron videos. Nearly there now. 3 more days. 9. And 70. And Japan is building up on the Chinese border. They're about to go to war. Army Innovations, is in play. Let's get our annexation on the roll. And they've just declared war on Shanxi. So it's actually nationalist China. They're probably going after the individual. Oh no, they're going up against mainland China. They're going against everyone. So we've just seen the world tension has, because of that, gone right up 8.3%, 6%, and 8.3%. So yeah, almost doubled it with Japan's wants and needs to destroy China. Probably should have gone for the annexation prior to military or army invasions. I mean, either or, we're going to get it before the end of 37. We should get it before the end of 37. In hindsight, yeah, I probably should have done that before army innovations. Anyway, look, it's no big deal. Okay, let's get our naval units assigned. We're going to do the Atlantic Fleet. We're going to focus on a raiding fleet. So mainly the benefit here is our submarine bonuses, less visibility, less surface visibility, and more speed. I like fast subs. We do unlock, I believe, a couple of apolitical advisors of the Army Innovation. We get von Braukasic, von Braukis. Army Maneuvers Expert Division speed gets up by 10%. And we get bonuses to our land research doctrine, which we should take advantage of right now. Let's start building up our land doctrines. If we go over into the right tab, here we go. Get a nice little boost there. Our delay doctrine. Let's get that. Gonna suss out this von Braukish guy. I'm pretty sure he comes in as a military high command option. Or maybe not. Maybe he's a research and production dude. So we currently got Guderian there. No, maybe not. Braukish. Maybe I'm seeing things. Von Richthofen, Heisenberg. Ah, there he is. There's the Chief of Army. So it's plus 10 on the division speed. That is handy. Fast divisions will play well to our blitzkrieg maneuvers, division organization, division training, or division attack. Yeah, to be honest, the best one is division speed out of those options. So when we have enough political power, we will get von Braukisch. I'll never get this right. I'm sure I've butchered so many German names in these videos so far, but anyway, we'll get this guy as our next political advisor. Close to 1,000 BF 109s, which is good. We're getting towards the end of 37. At this rate, we should have 2,000 by end of 38. Probably 2,500 by mid-39 by the time we go to war with Poland, summer of 39. I probably will boost up the production line just a little bit between now and then, so we can just get a little bit more closer to 3,000 units as we wish, as we want. I'll probably boost it up, add another factory to each line. That'll get us on the way. Need some steel. I'm not going to trade with the US. You know what? Stuff it. Let's do some trades with them. My end goal is to invade the US, but I really don't want them to come into the war soon, or even worse, join the Allies before I go to war with Poland. That is a possibility. I haven't bothered to support my ruling party there, as I sometimes like to do, which causes a very interesting outcome in 1941 if the United States becomes a fascist superpower. It's a very interesting outcome, but I'm going to leave them alone. Even if they do come into the war, as long as I can knock out the UK, it will make it very difficult for them to get a beachhead on continental Europe. Wonder how the war in versus China and Japan's going. Looks like it's pretty much a stalemate. They haven't really moved the lines much, slightly in Japan's favor by the looks of things, but looks like it's just one big quagmire. Looks like China's unified all the warlord countries into one big country, with the communist China, the PRC up in the north, and the democratic China. Well, it's not a line. They're nothing. They're just China. Yeah, I should have Czechoslovakia by the end of 37. We're so far on track with that. How many days? 45 out of 70, so 30 plus 30 odd. We're at the start of November. Yeah, we should hit that. No worries. I've never tried this. I didn't actually realize you could dismantle your own faction in this game. I'm assuming that you could do that and then go to war against your previous Axis allies, as they wouldn't be aligned to anyone. That's an interesting idea, but something that I'm not going to really be entertaining, to be honest with you. Alright, any more units to the field? None as of yet. Getting close to sort of-ish having our paratroopers there. What is our manpower currently at? We've got 1.13 million in the army. All of our air units are in the reserves, so that's why they're not taking up any manpower. The Navy is at 3K, but total manpower of 1.9. So out of a 7.77 million eligible manpower, so lots and lots of Germans to draw on when the time comes to fight. Our raiding fleets getting reasonable numbers, 52 subs. These guys are they're going to get really pummeled, to be honest with you, when we go to war. The British home fleet and their grand fleet is just huge. It's a huge naval force. I believe the most powerful in the world, historically and at the time, in this game as well. So they will mince these subs, but they are quick to produce and relatively cheap. So we just have to flood the waters with them, really, and sink as many convoys as possible. I certainly won't be doing anything suicidal with my little surface fleet here. Oh, let's add the, I believe that's the Grafspee ship. Yes, Admiral Grafspee. We'll put them into the surface fleet. So we've got 2 old school battleships, 3 heavy cruisers, the pocket battleships, a couple of light cruisers, and a bunch of destroyers. It's a small but decent. It's pretty weak, to be honest with you. It's not that decent. Yes, we won't be doing anything silly with it though, because if used correctly, German little surface fleet can be a useful item. Where it is of most use is just making sure our straits between Denmark and Norway are protected when we naval invade up into Norway, up around Oslo. And also, very gingerly, throwing them into the English Channel to cover our naval invasion of Britain. But as soon as our forces are in Britain, then we're pulling them the hell out of there, because the English surface fleet will rip it to pieces if they are given the opportunity. So yes, we have to be very ginger with our surface fleet, our little surface fleet. Wow, okay, military, oh Jesus, let's just pause it up here, it's all going off. Fate of Czechoslovakia is at hand. Our forces are marching into Prague at this very moment. Surrender of the Czechoslovakian military, and we've liberated vast quantities of armament, and their tanks particularly should serve our force as well. That they should. Okay, so we want to set up Slovakia as a puppet state. Patrician Czechoslovakia with Hungary. All of Czechoslovakia belongs to the Reich. What I will do is political has Slovakia becomes controller of Western Slovakia. Slovakia becomes controller of Slovakia. Yeah, let's do this. So Slovakia will be its own little thing. Hungary won't get it, but that's okay. We won't lose political power by taking that decision. Political power will allow us to force our will upon other countries, so we want to keep that as high as possible. Okay, so in a German military mission to China, Germany has enjoyed good relations with China since the end of the previous Weltkrieg. Despite the loss of our Chinese possessions, a German military mission has been present with China for a number of years, and Alexander von Falkenhausen has made great progress in reforming parts of the Kuomintang army. So let's just get him out of there. If we leave him there, then Japan will not like that. But China will most likely get their asses handed to them by the Japanese. And now the Italians are making claims on Yugoslavian territory, on the Dalmatian coast. That's fine. Let them be. All right, I want to get now my Treaty of the USSR so I can start rushing that Panzer III research for 38, which we're on the last month of 37 now, drawing the close end to our third video of this series. All right, let's throw in a couple more resources. Yep, let's get some more off the US. Keep old Uncle Sam happy. How's Japan going? Still in a stalemate. They've got, looks like they've naval invaded. They've naval invaded down here. Ximen. So they've also naval invaded up in Qingdao. Fighting through there, and also moving then south through Manchuria with little progress. Alright, leave them be. So far looks like the initiative is with the Japanese. Not sure what I believe Sinkang is a puppet of Japan, or an ally of Japan. Sorry, Meng Kukou. So they'll be fighting alongside the Japanese. What's going on here? Do we need more steel? A little bit more steel. And they're fighting against the Communist People's Republic of China. Looks like I'm not sure who's winning there. Field hospitals are a go. Thank you. More divisions to the field. Very good. Some paratroopers to the field. Excellent. And we've got some research to boot. What do we want to get? I'm not going to bother about MPs. 39 is the next tech. I'm going to keep working on the artillery. Let's go grab some anti-tank. The towed anti-tank unit. How's our borders looking? Oh gosh, the French are starting to garrison up the Maginot Line. That's okay. Let's throw these fresh young troops to the front. I hope I didn't accidentally throw in my paratrooper division there. I think I may have. Yes, I did. That's okay. We're going to set up a separate army. I'll figure out a general for that one later. Just make sure all of our paratroopers go there. Okay. Let's move these new units to the front. Actually, it doesn't look like there's that many, to be honest with you. They were just, it looks like they just split their big clumps out to seem as if there's many. So it's that 32, 3, 3, and 3, 3, 5, 8, 41. So we're actually parlay with them. I might actually send a couple over to counter the Belgium troops on the Belgian border. They've got 26 divisions against our 14, so they'll balance it out a little bit more better. Our paratroopers, I'm going to... Where should I put the paratroopers? I'll probably just leave them in... I'll just put them over here. In Niger... Sometimes I wish I knew how to speak German. Certainly make it easier for a German playthrough video of Hearts of Iron. Text starting to flow through nicely. See if we can grab any land doctrines. No. Any 38 stuff. Fighters come in 40. 36 and 40. Probably start working on our infantry units again. The anti-air can stay there. Let's go and grab us some improved infantry equipment. A couple of days early, but that's not going to hurt us. Let's get our paratroopers going to not Brandenburg, so they don't get mixed up in our mass deployment. Send them over to Niederschleichen. Niederschleichen. Couple more units to go. Off you do. Pretty happy with our development. Looks like we've got our low manpower, so I'm gonna have to change our recruitment policies now from limited conscription over to 2.5. I think we're going to have to go extensive, which will increase training time, but will increase our available manpower. Yeah, we'll do that next. Nearly at the end of the year, only a few more days left. Signals companies all coming through now. Let's keep working on our land doctrines while we have that research bonus. I'm going to start making a jump for our 38 electrical engineering items, our computing machine. Let's do that. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, in a couple of seconds, we will be in 1938. There we are. All right, we're going to pause up that live stream now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me. On the next video, we will play through to the end of 1938. Thank you all for watching. If you like this, please subscribe, throw me a like, throw me a comment, and I will see you in part 4. Thank you.